Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be learning about the if statement. The if statement is also known as a conditional. It checks if a certain condition is satisfied, and if yes, it executes a piece of code. We encounter conditionals every day. For example, if someone tells you something like, if you have eaten dinner, you can have ice cream. What this means is only if the condition of you eating dinner is satisfied, you can have the ice cream. So that's basically what we do in code as well. We say if a certain condition is satisfied, run this block of code. So let's have a look at how to do that. First, what we'll do is let's just draw an ellipse on the center of the screen. So that would be x and y 200, 200. And I'm just giving width and height of 50. Okay, perfect. We have that. Now what we can do is let's make this ellipse follow our mouse movement. So we'll just change the x and y to mouse x and mouse y. There we have. Now let's do something like this. We'll say if the ellipse is on the right side of the canvas, we want it to be red color. And if it's not on the right side, we want it to be blue color. So the syntax to write this conditional is, we will say if, open and close these parentheses, and inside that we'll add the condition. So my condition is going to be mouse x greater than 200, because I know that the canvas is 400 wide, so the half point will be 200. So if the mouse x value is greater than 200, I want the fill of the ellipse. So now one more thing we have to say is what to do if mouse x is not greater than 200. Like what do we do if this condition is not satisfied? To write that, you will say else. And for else there's no condition we have to give. It basically means if the above condition is not satisfied, we'll make the color blue. So that's 0, 0, 255. So let's run this over. I'm on the left side now, so it's blue. And I switch to the right side, so it's red. It keeps moving back and forth. Perfect. But now what if we want multiple conditions? Maybe something like if it's in the top left quadrant, you want it to be one color. If it's top right, one color. Bottom left, one color. And bottom right, one color. So in this case, we're actually just checking for one condition. We're saying if mouse x is greater than 200 something else, do something else. If we want to check multiple conditions, we have to write it differently. So let's do that. First, let's change this first condition where it's blue to make sure it's only part of the top left quadrant. So to do that, we'll say if mouse x is less than 200 and mouse y is also less than 200. So the way you say and is by putting double ampersand. So if mouse x is less than 200, mouse y is less than 200, it will be in the top left quadrant. We'll fill it in red. Now to add the next condition for, let's say, the top right quadrant, what we're going to say is else if. And for this part, the top right quadrant, mouse x will be greater than 200 and mouse y will be less than 200. So if this is the condition over here, let's say we want to make it blue. So we'll say fill 0, 0, 255. That is blue. So I'm just adding these comments here so that it's easy for us to remember. And right now we've just checked for these two conditions and we've said else fill. Oh, let's change this. Let's change this to fill white for now. So that's all 255. So if these two conditions are not satisfied, I'll just make the circle white. So let's see what happens. Top left quadrant is red. Top right became blue. But as I move down, anywhere down, it's white. And that's because neither of these two conditions have been satisfied, and that's what the else does. It basically catches anything that hasn't been satisfied here. Now let's continue adding more conditions. So for the bottom left quadrant over here, we're going to say else if mouse x is less than 200 and mouse y is greater than 200. And let's make it green now. So we'll say fill 0, 255, 0. That is green. So let's test this again. So it's good to keep testing our code as and when we write small chunks. Perfect. So these 3 quadrants are working. That means by default, the only thing that's left out is this quadrant, and it will be white. But let's just add for that also, and let's say we want to make it black. So for the last quadrant, it will be else if mouse x is greater than 200 and mouse y is greater than 200. And let's make it black. So for black, all the values will be 0. So we have red here, blue, green, and black. So that's how you can use the if, else if, and else statements. Now let's quickly convert this into a fun painting app. And how we can do that is I'm going to make the ellipse a bit smaller, and I'm going to move the background to setup. So now what will happen is, we can remove the stroke as well actually. Okay. So now what will happen is if I draw on the top left quadrant, it will be red. As I move here, it will become blue, black, green. And so you can make some really fun applications this way using the if statements. So try it out and play around. You can make other things with the if statements as well. For example, if you already have something that's moving, change the shape if it moves to a specific quadrant. Or maybe change the color of something based on just the mouse X values or something like that. You can change the background color based on your mouse. There's a lot that you can try out with this. So explore this concept for sure and have fun while doing it. Thank you and see you in the next video.